What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Good morning. It is July 22nd, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time. That's right. Got out a little bit early today. Not upset about that at all. So we're going to go home. We're going to go right to sleep. How about that? As always, you join me on the way home from CBS Sports Radio Network. This is my commute. And I am Dave Ettinger, your host of the Dave Talk Sports Podcast, episode number 23. It's crazy. I've already done 23 of these things. So, there's only two things and two directions that we want to head in today and talk about today. That is the Open Championship and the Hall of Fame inductions. And the Hall of Fame, every time the inductions happen, they're awesome. I enjoy the speeches. I enjoy the atmosphere. But it leads me to one direction only. And for those who haven't heard this rant already, I will give you my Hall of Fame rants for baseball one more time. Because, it's always good to reinforce your thoughts. And maybe something new will come out this time. You never know. Well, let's start with the Open Championship. If you didn't watch, I feel a little bit bad for you. A lot of people don't like to watch golf. Maybe they only watch the majors. Maybe they only watch when Tiger Woods is on the golf course. And that's okay. There are casual fans to every sport. Golf seems to be so attached to one player. It's unbelievable. And even Tiger Woods nowadays is admitting that he's not the same Tiger. His body's sore. He's in pain. He's just not that Sunday red-shirted Tiger that used to intimidate the crap out of the rest of the world and the rest of the golfers and just dominate the sport. He's not that. I know he won the Masters, and that was amazing. I never thought he was going to win a major ever again. But he barely competed in the other majors. He just was barely a factor at all. And again, misses the cut. You can talk about Rory McIlroy, who is always one of the favorites when they play overseas. He's from Ireland, and that's where this major was. The Open Championship was played at Royal Portrush in Ireland. So, this is something that he's kind of waited for. Well, here comes the interesting part of the commute every day. Guy on a bike doesn't seem to want to stay in this bike lane. So then, car next to me decides it's time to go 80 miles an hour around me. It's the adventures of podcasting and driving. Again, I'm always safe. I want to get myself home safely, which I always do. And you guys join me along my ride, but it's always interesting. I mean, driving in the city is a sight to behold to begin with. And then you add the, talking to you guys in there. It's something. We'll just put it that way. It's something. So I've always liked driving. Driving is fun to me. I enjoy just getting in the car and knowing I can kind of go wherever I need to go in a quick amount of time. I mean, when I'm in the car and I'm by myself, I'll admit I drive a little bit differently when I have my family and my kids in the car. Of course, you got to be safe. And I'm always safe. But I know that I can kind of do things and, not that I'm breaking the law or anything, but drive a little bit, better when I'm in the car by myself and get home a little bit quicker. We're keeping it honest here as always. That's what you get from me, Dave Talk Sports Podcast, Dave Ettinger. I'm brutally honest. That's kind of my take on the world and the sports world. So my wife knows these things. My close friends know these things. My kids know these things. I kind of think it, and it's directly connected to my mouth, and most of it just spins out. My wife last night was pretending to zip my mouth closed in some way. She was like, "Can you just stop talking?" And that's kind of the way I am. So hopefully you enjoy it. I enjoy it. I like the sound of my own voice. Hopefully you guys too. So I haven't hit anybody on the road, so I guess we can go back to talking about sports now. So The Open was fun. Rory McIlroy, again, being from Ireland, that's where I left off, he eliminated himself from contention on the first hole. I mean, the guy comes out, can't seem to get off the tee the right way. Quadruple bogeys the first hole of the tournament. I mean, that's not exactly the way you want to start. And he scratches and he claws and he tries to get himself back to the cut on Friday, the second day, and it just was way too little, way too late. And he misses the cut along with Tiger Woods. Now, another guy who missed the cut, David Duval. For those who remember David Duval, he was actually number one golfer in the entire world at one point in his career. Not so much anymore. No, not so much. David Duval shot a 91 on Thursday. Let's let that sink in. David Duval shot a 91. All right. Now, the golf course I played on Thursday myself was the first time I played golf in almost 4 years. And I am by no means a professional golfer. I'm not even that good anymore. And the course I was playing was not as difficult or in the kind of type of conditions or the length and distance, of course, that these professional golfers just played. But golf is still golf. You're hitting the ball, tee box to the hole. It's going in the hole. You play 18 holes. It's similar in what you're doing. I shot an 87. So let's just put things in perspective. Now, another guy who shot 87 on Sunday, J.B. Holmes. Now, J.B. Holmes is a name you saw at the top of the leaderboard, near the top of the leaderboard, and then come Sunday, even though he started the day in third place, would have earned nearly $1 million if he finished the day in third place, shot an 87. Mr. Holmes finished ahead of only 3 golfers. In the entire tournament of those who made the cut, only made $25,000. A little over $25,000. Now, that's nothing to scoff at, making $25,000 over a 4-day period. I would love that. That'd be great. You got $25,000 you want to give me from today until 4 days from now, I'll take it. Especially to play golf. But he could have earned almost $1 million. Or more if he had kept it together and won the tournament. He could have won $1.9 million. So just a little side note. But the story here is Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry wins this tournament from Ireland, grew up just hours from this course. And just the scene, the mob scene that was him approaching 18 was just wild. And he won. He was winning, outright. There wasn't any drama going into the last hole. And the conditions, if you watched, were pretty wild there on the course. As you know, the weather can get pretty hectic, over in Ireland. And the wind, the rain, the conditions. They even moved up the start times for everybody a couple hours to make sure that they got the final round in. This is very intriguing and very interesting. So congratulations to Shane Lowry, the latest champion of the Open Championship. Now, with that kind of out of the way, Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame. We must talk about it. Let's first congratulate the inductees, and let's start with really the only inductee that matters. No offense to anybody else, but Mariano Rivera, the first unanimous inductee. All right, it's ridiculous that we had to wait until Mariano Rivera for that to happen, but therein lies a big part of the flaw. That is the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Housed in Cooperstown in upstate New York, you get big crowds for the induction ceremony. It's really nice. If you love baseball, go. But the process, the whole thing, it's an absolute joke. These writers have their own agendas and opinions that shouldn't matter when it comes to the vote, but it does. All right, so let's start with the fact that Mariano Rivera was the first unanimous Hall of Famer ever inducted. That's because certain writers said, there's just guys that if I know could be unanimous, if I voted for them, I will not vote for them on the first ballot on purpose. I know, it's ridiculous. Just so they don't have 100% of the vote. It's a reason why Tom Seaver, for the longest time, was the highest percentage of votes at around 98%. And it slowly went up. You saw guys like Griffey Jr., Greg Maddux, guys, approach and surpass this number until finally Mariano Rivera became the unanimous guy. And I hope it continues to happen. As these older writers slowly get phased out, hopefully the newer writers get with the times and they do the right thing by all these players who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, especially unanimously. Next year, Derek Jeter is up. What you think of him now, what he's doing with the Marlins, it doesn't matter. Derek Jeter should get in unanimously. There's no person in their right mind, especially a baseball writer who supposedly knows baseball, who should leave him off the ballot. So he should be unanimous. I say should be because you never know until it happens. So that's next year's class. And a big congratulations to the rest of the class. We could talk about Roy Halladay, his widow, giving a very empowered speech. And, it was very sad, the passing of Roy Halladay. And he got in, deservedly so, into the Hall of Fame. Also, Lee Smith, a really good closer, he gets in. Mike Mussina, Harold Baines, Edgar Martinez. Some deserving, some not deserving. And we'll go to that as well. Again, I'm not disparaging anybody. But this is the Hall of Fame. This is the hall of great, excellent, top of the top of the top of the 1%. That's what this should be. Unfortunately, it's the hall of very good for some players. Tim Raines, Harold Baines, Mike Mussina. I'm really, really sorry to say this, but you guys are not Hall of Famers. You're just not. Again, this is the hall of great, outstanding, the 1% of the 1%, not the hall of very good. Mike Mussina won 270 games. And I know we're getting away from the staple benchmarks of 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts, 500 home runs, a lot due to the steroid era, which we're going to get to the steroids very soon. But Mike Mussina's ERA for his career, 3.68. That screams, that doesn't even get you onto the All-Star team nowadays. So how are you a Hall of Famer? Already played pretty much half of his career with the Orioles, where he was better, and then half of his career with the Yankees, where he was good and compiled wins because they were a good team. You're not a Hall of Famer. Now, I thought it was interesting that he went in without a logo of a team on his hat. Excuse me. But, I guess it was hard for him to choose between the Orioles and the Yankees. Fine. But you're not a Hall of Famer. So you shouldn't have had a logo to choose from. Now, let's get to the travesty that is Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame. The best hitter and potentially one of the best pitchers of all time, especially of an era, are not in the Hall of Fame. That is Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. We can talk about Pete Rose as well. It's a little bit of a different conversation, although he should be in the Hall of Fame too. I know, the Cardinal rule, he broke it, you can't bet. All right, well, there's a lot of people doing a lot worse things than what Pete Rose did. While he may be a bad guy, there's a lot of people doing a lot of worse things. They get lots of money, lots of accolades, lots of fame, get into the Hall of Fame than Pete Rose. So Pete Rose, strictly for his accomplishments on the field, is a first ballot, no doubt, or unanimous Hall of Famer. The hits leader, a lot of other things that he did. So the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is also a joke. But we're really talking about the people being left out due to the steroid era. That's what we're talking about. To me, this conversation is really simple. it actually surprises me that more people don't get this. I'm seeing professional sports talk show hosts, professional sports pundits, people who even know baseball, giving their take on the Hall of Fame and the steroid era and screwing it up so badly to the point that they actually think that they can quantify how many home runs Barry Bonds had because of steroids. Now, I'm not naive. I'm not an idiot. I have eyeballs and they connect to my brain. So I know that Barry Bonds did steroids. I don't need a test. I don't need to have watched him stick the needle in his ass. I don't need any of that. I don't need that. I don't need Jose Canseco to give me a tell-all book ratting out the world of who did steroids, even though he was mostly right. I don't need the Mitchell report. I don't need the Balco studies. I don't need any of this. I don't need any of that. I have eyeballs. Barry Bonds' head changed size. He doubled his body mass. Over a span of years, great. But he was literally a different human being than when he played on the Pirates to then when he played on the Giants and as it got later into his career. He hit home runs that would have been pop-ups. He did things in baseball that were assisted by steroid use. Illegal drugs that were illegal to society and illegal to baseball. I get that. Again, I'm not naive. But there's no way, I don't care who you are, there is no way of knowing who definitively did steroids. I'm talking about everybody, the entire list. Well, there's a list in the Mitchell report. No, I don't care what lists are out there. There are people not on that list that did steroids. There are people on that list that potentially didn't do steroids. Okay, unless there's video recorded proof or people admitting that they did steroids, there's no proof. There's no way of knowing, okay, who definitively, and I'm talking about everybody, you don't have a 100% list of who definitively did steroids. Therefore, you cannot incriminate people who didn't do it, or go the opposite way. You can't definitively tell me all the people that did do it. Therefore, let everybody in. There's no asterisk necessary. There's no side note. There's no footnote necessary. No, part of the steroid era. No, none of that's necessary. You let everybody in. If their play on the field and what you watched and their accolades and their statistics and all their accomplishments dictate that they're Hall of Famers, you put them in the freaking Hall of Fame. It's not just hitters. Some of the pitchers are doing steroids. Some of the hitters are doing steroids. None of it would surprise me. I'm a Yankee fan. I just told you that Mariano was unanimous into the Hall of Fame. Derek Jeter should be unanimous into the Hall of Fame next year. Nothing would surprise me. So if you told me that Derek Jeter did steroids, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, there were also people in different eras getting and gaining a competitive advantage as well. It was different. The uppers, the amphetamines, the greenies, whatever you want to say it was, the guys were doing in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah, of course, it was different. Okay? The illegal drugs, the cocaine that guys were doing many, many moons ago, whatever it is that these guys have been doing to try to gain a competitive advantage, they're all doing it. Everyone in professional sports tries to get an advantage. They'll try to cheat. They'll lie. Everybody does this. I don't know why this is surprising to people, but you can't quantify it, and you can't definitively tell me everybody who did it. So you put everybody in. It's also, Barry Bonds is still required to have the hand-eye coordination to hit the baseball. That was going 80 miles an hour, on 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, spin, curveball, change-up, slider, splitters, whatever. He still had to hit the baseball. So maybe his reaction time, his recovery time were all better because of the steroids. Maybe he hit the ball farther because of the steroids. I get all that. But he wasn't the only one. And again, I know I sound like a broken record. There's no way to know everybody who did it. So you have to let everybody in. Because if you get one person wrong in either direction, someone who didn't do it, who you keep out, someone who did do it that you put in. All you got to do is one. Get one wrong in either direction, the whole process is blown to smithereens. So for that, you put everybody in. If you argue with me, it's fine. That's what I'm here for. Find me on Twitter at DaveEttinger2. Post comments in the YouTube comment section below here. Also subscribe to my channel and receive all my videos on YouTube. Those buttons and things and options are right below this video. You can find them. And we'll have a continued conversation on the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. That is an absolute joke. Hopefully they'll get it right. Bonds, Clemens, McGuire, Sosa, A-Rod, all these guys, they'll get in. Eventually they'll get in. Pete Rose, everybody's getting in. It's just a question of when. All right. I could talk about this all day, but unfortunately I'm out of time. 6:26 in the a.m. Eastern Standard Time, July 22nd. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys have a great week. I am Dave Ettinger, your host of the Dave Talk Sports podcast. This has been episode number 23, and I am of CBS Sports Radio Network, and I'm on the way home. So in about 20 minutes, I'll be sound asleep. Until tomorrow, see ya.